Agriculture is Nigeria's past, and in agriculture is Nigeria's future. That's the summary of what motivates the decisions and policies by the Minister of Agriculture, Audu Ogbe. And so there's the Staple Crops Processing Zone, which aims to attract the private sector into agribusiness. There's the Dry Season Farming, which was launched in March 2016 in Kebbi State with a 20 billion naira Central Bank of Nigeria loan through the Anchor Borrowers Program, and a lot more. It's not just about exploring the potentials in agriculture, but adding value to the produce. And this is our focus on this episode of Big Story. I'm Ini Thompson. A cassava plantation, just one of the many belonging to Ore-Ofe Cooperative in Ogun State. It's from here that part of the annual output of 34 million tons, which the Federal Ministry of Agriculture records for the country, comes from. The president of the cooperative explains how they work.
This cassava tree, by April we plant the cassava. This is how we plant it from April. When you plant the ground like this, then we put the cassava tree. So then we do another one here. We put it in the ground. As you do this in April, until after the 7 months or 10 months, you come and uproot the cassava tree. So we uproot it like this. So we uproot it. So to come and harvest. So we are doing the harvest of this farm after the 8 months, by the grace of God. So
this also confirms the findings of the ministry that cassava is produced largely by small-scale farmers using rudimentary implements. In spite of this, their produce goes a long way. One of such is a processing plant in another part of the state. Here, about 50 women have been employed in the peeling section alone. It's the beginning of the processing of about 15 tons of cassava daily, most part handled manually.
This is the wet section where washing starts. The washing is done manually because we try to encourage local labor and use the community, like the women are peeling. Also, we employ labor locally so that we can keep the youths with us and reduce the mass migration of young people from the rural areas to urban areas. So she washes, and then it goes from here to be grated into pulp.
The first set of processing, which ends with dewatering, makes it into cassava cake. Then begins the next level of production, which turns the cake to flakes, from which edibles like gari is made. The picture is almost the same for many other crops. Palm fruits, which is the raw materials for making palm oil as well as palm kernel oil, also goes through minimal mechanical method. There's also the cake from here, which is like the secondary output and serves as one of the content for feed meals. This is of utmost importance to fish farmers, especially because improper and irregular feeding has been numbered among causes of less than optimum fish production. Consequently, close attention is paid to feeding content and pattern.
1,000 fish to feed them from fingerless to the harvest stage will cost us about 450,000 naira. So we have 2,000 inside a pond. We spend about 900,000 to feed them. And when they develop and grow to the size we want, we'll definitely get our money back and we'll still make profits.
The raw materials we used here comprises PKO, red oil, soybean oil, other oils, fatty, palm fatty. We use palm fatty. That's the oil segment. We also have caustic soda, coloring, soda ash, fragrance, known as perfume. These are the material we use for now.
Both the palm kernel oil and palm oil end up in companies that produce soap.
This is where the oil are being poured. After we collect them from our customers, we transfer it into our own containers here. Now we begin this also serves as measurement, the measurement of the soap we produce. We collect them from our container to the boiling kettle.
In the boiling kettle, mixture is done, and then comes the soap, which serves both homes and industrial purposes.
This is the bigger one. Right now, it's offloading the content. These are the soap chips. Soap chips, as you can see, this is where it comes. By the time it have crushed it to see it, it's okay now to go. We fetch from here to the extruder, which is the final stage. Right now, we are at the second stage, from the second stage to the final stage.
From this minimal mechanical process, some degree of the needs of Nigerians have been met, and yet the country has the potential to cater for much more, especially if a larger part of the production process was to be automated and mechanized. The challenge? Funding.
Banks are giving out agricultural loans at double digits. It can't work. There is no such venture that can run profitably. Because the agricultural sector is one that's intense and that's hands-on, and you just have to give it that time for it to mature. There is a gestation period in agriculture. I mean, imagine yourself starting a cocoa plantation today. The first real income that you'll probably see can't be earlier than 4 years. And that's given the improved variety of cocoa, which starts fruiting at 2.5 years. Do the banks take this into cognizance? No. The best you'll probably get as moratorium is between 6 to 12 months. The banks are giving out loans at double digits. There is no venture in agri today that can support that. The closest you have to anything reasonable is the CBN supported facility, again routed through commercial banks. You get offers at 9%, and then everybody by 12 months max starts breaking your door down, by which time you probably just have finished clearing your massive expanse of land and have probably just prepared the land, meaning you have probably just started planting. You have 2.5 years, like I said, for crops like cocoa, like oil palm. So when do you start breaking even? When do you start making enough income for you to start paying back, the facility? In all of this, you still have maintenance costs to bear. So the quick wins that you have are probably in terms of poultry, in terms of fishery, but again, you can only do so much of those. We still have a large gap, yes, when it comes to supply, but you also have to realize that your target market, they have dwindling income, so they may not place that much premium or priority on those produce that they see as luxurious.